Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to 67th TEFLIN International Conference and the 9th ICO ELT in Universitas Negeri Padang. This video is the presentation of the paper entitled Developing a Teacher Cognition on ICT Instrument, a Confirmatory Factor Analysis by me, Gusti Nur Hafifah, and Professor Bambang Yudi Cahyono and Ibu Francisca Maria Yvonne, PhD. Okay, the background of this study, why we intended to conduct a study, especially the process of the instruments construction. We wanted to investigate more on the processes of teacher cognition itself. As we all know that the conceptual framework of teacher cognition has been developed by Borg since 2003, and there are many studies investigating what are the motive of teacher behind their teaching activities. So it is important to see how the process of the cognition occur in the teacher's mind that probably affect their decision and attitude for teaching. However, there are also studies of teacher cognition, but there hasn't been any studies that correlate teacher cognition and ICT use in ELT. Therefore, this study intended to see how each aspect of teacher cognition itself significantly contributes to the use of ICT. Besides that, it's also confirmed that variables of teacher cognition, such as knowledge, belief, and attitudes, are part of their teacher cognition. However, this study will add another variable of teacher cognition, which is self-efficacy, since it's been studied before by Abbott, Kazu-Ayrton, Kaiser, and also Liu in their previous studies that also reveal that self-efficacy is playing a crucial role in determining their knowledge, especially in the technology use. So this paper come up with two research questions. What are the steps of constructing a valid and reliable instruments? And are the questionnaires items constructed valid and reliable to measure the variables of teacher cognition? Because this is part of the dissertation, so this study is actually explaining the process and the steps of constructing a valid and reliable instrument. We use confirmatory factor analysis as the design of the study. We will explain later how the instrument is constructed, following several steps of validity and reliability measurement. And in this study, the data is collected through online questionnaire using Google Form to 54 respondents with the qualification of English teachers who is teaching in university or lecturers with the master degree qualification. Okay, so these are the procedures of constructing instrument. So we first determine the objective of the study because we are trying to confirm the conceptual framework of teacher cognition itself. There hasn't been any empirical study or empirical instrument that measure the levels or the aspects of teachers' cognition as a whole. As a whole concept that covers the whole variables of teacher cognition. And after determining the objective, we define and delimiting the domain. So we omit some variables. We didn't include variables of perception, conception, and assumption because of several reasons. And after we limiting the domain of the teacher cognition, we created a blueprint with the content specification. So in that blueprint, we analyze and synthesize from previous studies, and then we created a blueprint that covers the purpose of the study and also the dimensions of the research, the variables first, the dimension, and then the indicators, and also the items. Yeah, so it's explained clearly in the blueprint as the guideline to construct an instrument. And after that, the blueprint and also the questionnaires draft is undergo expert review and validation. And we had 3 experts. The first is the experts from cognition, which are from the psychological department. And then we also have reviewed from the expert of ICT in ELT. And another expert is from the assessment. So we have complete experts to review this instrument. And after we have the content validation from the expert, we revise the instrument. So before this, there are around hundreds items. And after we got the feedback from the experts, we reduce and we revise, we adjust, and there are left 83 items. And after that, we tried out the instrument to 54 respondents in this study. And then we analyzed the instruments using the confirmatory factor analysis. And then we have done final revisions so that the instrument can be used to collect data for this study, the big research. Okay, this is the result and the discussions. In this paper, we explain the result of the confirmatory factor analysis, which covers the validity measurement and the reliability measurement. We also explain in the discussions the item scales, which covers 5 variables of this study, which is knowledge of ICT, belief in ICT, attitude toward ICT, ICT self-efficacy, and the last variable is ICT use in ELT. This is the validity measurement result of the instrument. So in the validity measurement, we conducted convergent and discriminant validity testing to see whether all variables, included all the items, are valid and can be used to collect a data. So there were 83 items measuring 4 variables. There were 15 items with a loading factor score that was not greater than 0.6, meaning those 15 items are invalid. The invalid items are 4 items from knowledge variable, 3 items from belief in ICT variable, 4 items from self-efficacy variables, and the other 4 items that measure the perceived use of ICT variables. So we have this kind of codes. X.1.1.3 is actually a code to determine that this the invalid items are coming from the first variable with the exogenous variable, coming from the first dimension, the first indicator, and the third items. So these are dimension number 1 from the indicators 1 and from items number 3 that is not valid. All right. So finally, there were 68 items were valid in measuring the corresponding variables. After that, the validity measurement, we also conduct a measurement to check the validity by checking the loading factor score, and all of those 68 items The loading factor score was greater than 6.0 with the AVE score exceeded 5.0, meaning they are valid. Yeah, so all those 68 items fulfill the discriminant validity criteria. Yeah. Okay. And this one is the reliability measurement of the instruments. The reliability indicates the consistency of the answers obtained from the questionnaire. So the results show that the composite reliability score of all variables was greater than 0.7. Therefore, all the indicators measuring the variables were reliable. Moreover, the Cronbach alpha score of all variables were also greater than 0.6. So all the indicators were also reliable in measuring the existing variables, and the instrument was appropriate to use to collect data of the research. So this is the detail of the items. We have 5 variables: knowledge, belief, attitude, self-efficacy, and ICT use. So this is actually the aspects of each variables. So I put it here is the synthesized theory. So whenever we created an instrument, there should be, or there must be a theory, yeah, or there must be previous study that supported our argument that we define the variable. Yeah, so these are the theory that become the basis of the instruments constructions. So this is the knowledge variable that covers 4 dimensions. There are factual knowledge, conceptual knowledge, procedural knowledge, and metacognitive knowledge. And this knowledge of ICT variable covers 7 indicators and 22 items. For the scale of measurement of knowledge, we use excellent, good, fair, and no ID. And it should be defined also in the paper. And the next is on the belief in ICT variable. We have 3 dimensions: existential belief, evaluative belief, and prescriptive belief. This belief is focusing only the teacher's belief in ICT. It has 4 indicators and 14 items with a scale of measurement: strongly agree, agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. For the scale of measurement for belief, attitude, and ICT self-efficacy, they have the same scale of measurement. And for the attitude, it has 4 dimensions. It covers 4 dimensions. The first is the likes or preferences, necessity or the importance, and then the 3rd dimension is willingness, and the last dimension is aversion or dislike. It covers 5 indicators and 15 items. And also self-efficacy, it covers 3 dimensions, 3 indicators, and 9 items. And for the ICT use, this is the perceived use of ICT that covers 2 dimensions, types of ICT tools and application, and the 2nd dimension is the kinds of ICT activities in ELT. It has 2 indicators and covers 8 items. So these are the 5 variables that has undergone the reliability and validity measurement, and it's proven to be valid and reliable. Beside that, we also have additional demographic data that covers 10 items that reveal the respondents' personal information, working information, and also the educational background information. So the conclusion of the study is that the instrument developed is shown to be valid and reliable for measuring teacher cognitive dimensions and scales. It covers 5 variables, 16 dimensions, 21 indicators, and 68 items. The result indicates that all those 68 items was appropriate to be used to collect data of this research. Okay, however, in this study, we have some limitations because this study only focus on the 4 variables of teacher cognition, which are knowledge, belief, attitude, and self-efficacy. Some aspect of teacher cognition such as assumption, conception, and perceptions are not studied. And also this study focusing on the university level of English teachers. So it might need further study with a larger sample that to obtain more valid and reliable conclusions. And it's actually done in the next step of the study, which is collecting data with a larger sample of English teachers in university level. All right, so this study is supported by PNBP Universitas Negeri Malang 2021 Grand SIM. And I also like to express highest appreciation to all English teachers in higher education institutions who has been voluntarily participated in the tryout. All right, yeah. Thank you, everyone. That's the presentations for my paper for TEFLIN. Thank you and have a nice day.